What We Do in the Shadows.
The TV show.
The TV show, yes. I can only give this the highest of compliments, which is it's as good as the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that movie is as good as it gets, as far as comedy goes.
Guillermo, what are you doing?
Matt Berry is like an old vaudeville actor who turned to movies. His entire shtick is his voice.
Yeah.
And he does his voice great, he knows how to modulate it just right, but all he has is that voice, and that's all he needs.
But for someone like us who knows a lot of his work, he's actually really playing it straight in this show. He's not being Matt Berry.
Berry is the type of guy you would never hire to do Shakespeare, but he'd be first on your list for playing a Shakespearean actor.
Oh, yeah. Well, hello there. I see you've clicked on the unboxing show, which is what you're seeing right now. This is a satellite show of Welcome to the Basement, the movie-watching show that has taken America by storm. Why not?
Yeah.
We open our mail, things that people send to us in our P.O. box, and we thank our donors, people who go to welcometothebasementshow.com and contribute.
People like these people.
Jennifer, Eric, Ashton, Ann, Zach, James, Nathan, Maura, Andrea, Sean, Melanie, John, Abigail, Michael, Adam, Gail, Emily, Mitchell, Ralph, and Colin from Winnipeg, who says, I've really enjoyed your last 2 episodes, How to Get Ahead in Advertising and Suddenly Last Summer. Thanks for the incredibly entertaining videos, as well as introducing me to these 2 wild films.
They were wild. Well, thank you for your donation.
Here's a postcard that should interest you.
The moon.
I'm the moon. This is from Tyler in Cleveland, Ohio. Dear Matt and Craig and Tona and Kat, I love your show. Have you seen Lady Snowblood? I love this movie. I haven't seen it.
My God. I love Lady Snowblood. I didn't see it until just a few years ago. Oh, this is it. This is the Quentin Tarantino foundational text.
From Sean Henry, sitting in a taqueria in a converted gas station in the village of Ganges on Salt Spring Island.
Now I want a taco.
And savoring the sun. Hope August is treating you well.
Maybe it is.
Marshall from Fargo, North Dakota. Thank you for getting me into They Might Be Giants. Thanks for being funny. Thanks for encouraging me to go to my local theater.
Hey, this looks like a picture of the local theater here. It looks like the Fargo.
Tim from Niagara Falls.
If only there was an old vaudeville routine I could quote right now.
I recently saw the film Mary Goes Round, which is set here in Niagara Falls, close to where I live. It shows the falls as a sad, tacky tourist trap, making it the most accurate depiction of Niagara Falls I've ever seen. Is there any movie that really nails where you live? How about one that fails completely? How about all of them? The movie Away We Go, part of it takes place in Madison, and I hate that film, and so
I hate it so much. But they do get the tone of the Near East Side perfectly, as far as child rearing on the Near East Side of Madison.
This is from Arizona in Port Townsend, Washington. Arizona is the name of a person. Took a day trip with my dad and a few friends. The front of the postcard isn't exaggerating. Point Townsend is beautiful if you ever visit the Puget Sound. I highly recommend it. What's the most beautiful location you've seen in a film?
Most beautiful location I've seen in a film?
I know. I've been racking on my brain. I've been trying to think of something I haven't talked about on the show, and I can't.
The Himalayas and Black Narcissus, but that was all matte painting, so they didn't really exist.
There are a lot of very beautiful screensavers on my Apple TV. I know that's a terrible answer, but you move through them, and it's really cool looking. And now we answer viewer questions. Eric Harrison writes, how long will you continue to make your living this way? And how will you retire? Do you save money for retirement? That emphasis is my own. Yes, Eric, I don't know how long I'm going to be doing this. I've been doing it for about 12 years now, which is crazy.
I don't make my living off this. I have another job, and I am saving for retirement. Not much, but...
I am also saving for retirement. We're doing it the right way. We've got a mortgage. We're not renting. We have very little debt, and we are putting some aside for retirement, so we are good. Thank you for your concern.
Kristen writes, what pets does Craig have? I know he's a dog person. I am a dog person, but I don't have a dog. Our last dog died around 6 months before Lorenzo was born, and we're waiting until we're certain that we're done having kids before we get another dog. But we talk about getting another dog all the time. Someday, a dog will be back in my life.
I have 2 pets, 2 black cats named Sadie and Cecil. Perhaps you've heard of them.
When I was a kid, we had gerbils, and we got 1 black one and 1 brown one, and then somehow we got an albino one because they started breeding together.
Right.
And then my mother started breeding gerbils just to be like a Gregor Mendel of Chains of Wisconsin, and just like keeping track. She like had a stack of gerbil cages, and just to like watch the different generations going down. 2 black, 1 brown, 1 albino, 1 brown.
It's like the Dalmatian mice in the Tenenbaum household.
Basically, yes. Tales from the dark side.
Boogity boogity.
Grow, O light, come forth, O light, rise.
I don't understand English.
Well, I wanted an apple, but now I don't want an apple.
He never did have taste.
Or hearing or sight. He always was trapped in a sensory deprivation tank. I stole this jacket from Neil Young. My dad was Tommy Chong. He still is.
5,000 of your little buddies get wasted, huh?
Killed a lot of cats.
I phoned ahead to the vet. Mr. Droke. He said, it's midnight.
It's the time of the dark side. I'm off duty.
Son of a bitch!
No, cats are not. A laser sight is perfect for a cat.
Yeah.
What you need is you take the laser sight off and aim with the other hand.
When I receive records in my P.O. box, I make every effort to listen to them and talk about them on this show. I don't have a theme for today, it's just 5 random records.
Here we go!
This is Lee Hazelwood, Requiem for an Almost Lady. Not a great album title. This is clearly a breakup record, and with a title like that, you'd think it was a kiss-off record, full of a lot of anger, but that's not the case. I will tell you in Mr. Hazelwood's own words.
Cast your mind back. 1971. California.
They are not all sad songs full of pity and remorse, but more a mixture of good and hard time, old and new thought, lost and found feeling, and near and far places. So there's a lot going on this record. It's a tapestry of emotions about a love found and lost.
That's what a decent breakup is. If it's just anger, you probably didn't love him that much.
Yeah.
But if it's like everything, then you have a problem.
He's got some Wrecking Crew musicians on here, which is always good. And he also kind of tosses off in the liner notes that the woman, he not only broke up with her, but she's now dead.
Ah!
Kid Congo and the Pink Monkey Birds. This is... I don't know what this is.
It was exciting when I showed up.
You heard a bit of it.
There's a lot of music going on this thing.
I could call this psychedelic post-punk, but I would sound like an idiot. It's sort of oozy, throbby music, and a lot of the vocals are spoken word, or not at all. I'm not sure how much of a vocalist Mr. Powers is, but it's a very strange ride to this.
It didn't sound like it came out 10 years ago. It sounded like it came out 30 or 40 years ago. In a good way.
We have Jefferson Starship, Red Octopus. I was very intrigued by this because I'm familiar with Jefferson Airplane. White Rabbit is one of the great songs of the 1960s. Mm-hmm. I'm familiar with Starship. We Built This City on Rock and Roll is one of the worst songs of the 1980s. But I never really heard Jefferson Starship. Now this has a hit on it. If only you believe, if only you believe in miracles, we get by. Yeah, that's a great song.
I didn't know they did that song.
I didn't know it either. No surprise that this is called Red Octopus, because this feels like at this point in 1975 that it's a band that's pulling itself in a bunch of different directions.
Yes.
Like each song is a different band member's project. But this also really sounds like a 70s record. I think this group was really adept at changing themselves to suit the sound of the times.
Yeah, no matter how much you may not like their songs from the 80s, they worked in the 80s.
And they were huge hits.
Yeah, nothing's going to stop them now.
And we have 2 records here by the Exploding Hearts. They are a band from about 15 years ago. They stormed on the scene with some great rock and roll, and then they all died.
No, they didn't. One man survived.
The guitar player survived, yes, but the rest of them died.
Yes.
What we've got here is their one record, Guitar Romantic, which I'm familiar with. I've heard this many times. I love it. And then Exploding Hearts Shattered is sort of an odds and sods compilation of demos and unreleased songs. There's 5 unreleased songs on here, which is a real treasure trove if you love this band and are saddened by their passing. And then some old singles and things like that. Let's open our packages. Key me.
I got a package from Carrie Mathias of Robbinsdale, Minnesota. She wrote a letter. I recently went on a trip to the North Shore with my mom. That's the North Shore of Lake Superior. And I grabbed you a few postcards from some of the cool places we visited. One of them is from Glensheen Mansion in Duluth, Minnesota. Oh, my wife loves Glensheen. I've never been there myself. One of the coolest houses I've ever had the pleasure of visiting. I'm also sending you a movie that was filmed there. You'll Like My Mother, starring Patty Duke and Richard Thomas. A Long Way from Walton's Mountain. It was filmed in the house about 5 years before. An actual murder took place there and is actually pretty tense. I hope you like it. It's the Duluth Murder House. You'll Like My Mother, with basement alum Patty Duke.
Oh, yeah.
The Glensheen Mansion. Oh, Split Rock Lighthouse. I've been there. I love these local ones. More Split Rock. Ah, the Narrabougie Lodge. These are places that I keep talking about going to with the family. The Lodge. And High Falls and Baptism River. Doing great today, Matt.
I got one.
All right.
There is no note. Mayan Records in Hartville, Ohio. It is a record that I've always heard about, but have never listened to. It's a comedy record called The First Family.
Oh.
About the Kennedys. I grew up with a record called The First Family Rides Again, starring Rich Little, doing the Reagans.
Yes, but this is Vaughn Meter.
Yes.
Weird collateral damage of the presidential assassination was that Vaughn Meter lost his job.
Yeah.
History ripples out in lots of weird ways.
First Family. There it is. All of our 180 plus episodes that we've done of this show, perhaps you haven't seen all of them. It is time now for us to recommend an episode from our back catalog.
Dario Argento's Suspiria.
A good one for Halloween.
It's a very colorful movie. There's a little bit of Wes Anderson DNA in there, and we had a good time on that episode. Also, Udo is in it.
Yes, but
Yes.
not his voice.
Not at all.
There is a button at the end of this video you can click on to watch that episode, and right now you can watch this. He's younger than we've ever seen him before, and he still looks 50. I really wish when he was the right age, he would have done a Don Knotts biopic. Because he would have been good.
Yes, oh yeah.